man is back.
Oh, okay, boys. Oh my gosh, the man got that stuff. This is a 5 out of freaking 5.
It is beat making time.
Next week is E3 week. My album comes out next week.
I have the leopard. Look at that, my God.
This is your boy. Alright, ladies and gentlemen of the YouTube citizens, y'all know who this is. This is your boy Dash True Inferno. Back at it with another Call of Duty Black Ops 6 commentary video gameplay for you guys. And I know this was coming. We got a lot of topics that we need to talk about. But first we need to get on with this. So at the beginning of the year, normally, even though we're almost done with the month of January, but at the beginning of the year, I normally give you guys my 10 movies, my 10 most anticipated movies of the ongoing year. But looking at the lineup this year, even though there's a lot of interesting movies coming out this year, I don't have a lot of interest in these movies, but some of them are worth noting, and others I purposely left out because I think that they're going to be straight up trash. So instead, I don't have a top 10 for you guys. Nope. I only have a top 5. So here we go. My top 5 most anticipated movies of the year. So we're going to start off with number 5. How to Train Your Dragon. Okay, so this one right here is a live action remake of the original animated film that came out in 2010. So we know who made this, but in case y'all don't know, I'm going to give you the lowdown. So this is being, although they got, this is interesting. Okay, there it is down here. So the production companies involved are DreamWorks Animation, there it is right there, and Mark Platt Productions, and he's actually a producer as well. And it's distributed by Universal Pictures. So this movie is currently stated to be released on June the 13th of this year. I'll be back in town. I was thinking that I may be out of town that weekend, but no, I thought about it. I'll be back in town. I was planning on going to Jersey in early June, but I think it's the weekend before that. So let's take a look at the premise real quick. On the rugged Isle of Berk, where Vikings and dragons has been bitter enemies for generations, Hiccup Horrendous Haddock III, the inventive yet overlooked son of Chief Stoic the Vast, defines centuries of traditional dragon fighting practice when he befriends Toothless, a feared night fury dragon. Their unlikely bond reveals the true nature of dragons, challenging the very foundations of Viking society. So this was said by Universal Pictures. Now, let me give you the lowdown here. I have not seen the original animated series, How to Train Your Dragon, but I seen the trailer for this, and I was like, yo, that looks good. That looks really good. So that's why I'm like really interested in seeing this movie, because again, I haven't seen the animated version, and I think they had like 3 different versions, 3 different movies in the animated version, whatever the case may be. So when I saw the trailer again, I was like, yo, this looks really, really good. So I got to go and check this out. So I am planning on doing that. And I tried to think, how many versions of this movie are there? Is it 3 or is it just 2? I don't remember if there's like 2 or 3 of these. But there's quite a few of them. I know that much. There's quite a few of them. And they've been successful. So let me see. Okay, so there's obviously the first one. Then it had 2 sequels, How to Train Your Dragon 2 and How to Train Your Dragon The Hidden World. And then there were short films, but we're not going to get into that. So we just focusing on the main film. So there were 3 of them pretty much. Okay. And then there was actually a television series as well, apparently. But that's another story for another day. So yeah, this is number 5 on the list because of the fact that even though I like how it looks and I'm interested to see this movie because of how it looks, in terms of the story, if the animated version didn't get me, I'm not sure if this will. The look will get me. But the story, I don't know. That's why it's number 5 on my list, because I don't know what to, I'll be honest, I have no clue what to expect with this movie. Outside from how it looks. How it looks is great. How it looks is fantastic. But in terms of everything else, I don't know. That's why it's number 5 on my list. Now, let's move on to number 4. The Fantastic Four, First Steps. This is no pun intended. I did not purposely put the Fantastic Four at the number 4 spot because of the number 4. That was not done on purpose. Like, no. Moving on. So obviously the production company here is Marvel Studios, obviously, and it's distributed by Walt Disney Studios Walt Disney Studios Motion Pictures. That's all one company, by the way. So this movie is stated to come out on July the 25th of this year. Now here's the premise, which is short as heck. On a 1960s expired retro-futuristic Earth, the Fantastic Four must protect their home from being devoured by the cosmic being I can't talk. Why am I cannot pronounce this dude's name for some odd reason. Galactus. There it is. Like, I don't know why I was struggling to pronounce his name. Galactus and his enigmatic herald, the Silver Surfer. And if y'all remember from like, a year or two ago, it has been reported that the Silver Surfer will be a woman in this movie. And some people had complained about this. Now, I'll get more on that in a second. So, here's my issue with this movie. So, this movie is, not only this thing is set in the 1960s, so they will have no ties with the current Marvel lineup, referring to, the new Captain America, to Bucky, aka the Winter Soldier, to, what's his name, Doctor Strange, and I'm not sure the Scarlet Witch is still alive, to the new Black Panther and all that jazz. So there would be no tie-ins with it because this movie is set in the 1960s, unless they time travel to the future, something like that. But not only that, it's on a different Earth. It's on a retro-futuristic Earth. So, right off the bat, this is in a different dimension and it's in a different time. Now, again, never say never because I forgot who it was, but I think it was at the end of the Marvel movie, the Miss Marvel movie, where one of them ended up in a different timeline. I mean, a different dimension, rather. So, crossing over through different dimensions and different timelines, I mean, it's possible. Like, we've seen hints and, bits and pieces of that. So, that may happen with this movie or with a future Fantastic Four movie. So, I'm not exactly looking forward. I'm not exactly thrilled to see them in a different timeline, in a different dimension as well, in terms of everywhere else, rather. Now, an interesting thing here, though, is that Robert Downey Jr. will appear in a post-credit scene as Dr. Doom. So we all knew this one. Yeah, he's going to be back in the Marvel Universe, but not as Iron Man, but as Dr. Doom. So that's going to be very interesting to see how that plays out. I can't wait to see this movie. But again, I'm not looking forward to the fact that it's in its own timeline, in its own dimension. And I'm not sure if there's any way, shape, or form there's going to be a crossover between this version of Fantastic Four and the Avengers, the current Avengers squad. Also, I saw who's playing the Human Torch, Joseph Quinn. Like, in terms of how he looked, I'm not sure how I feel about him playing the Human Torch based on how he looks. Like, he got to be arrogant as heck too, and then his look got to be completely different in terms of how he looked based on the picture I saw on Wikipedia. He got to be arrogant, and they got to make him look the part in order for me to believe him as the Human Torch. Otherwise, I'm like, yeah, this might not be a good movie. And let's talk about the fact that, yeah, we have a female Silver Surfer, Shala Ball. So this is a legit character. This is a fictional character appearing in the American comic books published by Marvel. The immortal Empress Zenla and the lover of Norrin Rad, the Silver Surfer, who becomes the herald of Galactus in exchange for his planet being spared. So there is a female Silver Surfer. So that is very interesting. And again, I don't know why people are tripping about this. I'm like, bruh, if you do your research, you will know that there was indeed a female Silver Surfer. So I'm like, what's the problem here? Like, why are y'all tripping? So that's why I don't understand the people going off about that. So I can't wait to see this movie, even though I still have issues with it, which is why it's number 4, but it's not number 5, because with this, I know what to expect here is Galactus, it's the Silver Surfer, although it's a female Silver Surfer, and then Doom is going to appear in the post-credits. So I can't wait to see this one. All right, let's move on to number 3, Superman. Okay, so this has been, the production company involved here is DC Studios, obviously, and it will be distributed by Warner Brothers Pictures, obviously. Now, this joint will come out on July the 11th, 2025. That's where it's set to come out at. Now then, let's talk about this. So, the premise goes as follows. The film explores Clark Kent / Superman's journey to reconcile his Kryptonian heritage with his adopted human family in Smallville, Kansas. So, this looks like, I don't know, is this going to be like how Clark Kent became Superman, like the very beginning, or shortly after he became Superman? I don't know. But what I do know is this. Obviously, there's going to be a Lois Lane in this movie, obviously. We got a Lex Luthor who it will not be black. And let's see. We got a Mr. Terrific, okay, in this movie. And we got a Metamorpho, Oh, okay, yeah. So he's actually no, he's a good guy actually. I think he was like an anti-hero, something like that, turn good, something like that. I don't remember. The Green Lantern is set to be in this movie, Guy Gardner, so that's interesting to a degree. And then Hawkgirl gonna be in this movie, and obviously Jimmy Olsen, which makes sense. Now I don't know who this E test matcher is, so I guess oh yeah, she's Luther's assistant. Okay, so there's that. And then we got the engineer. I don't know who that is. A member of the Authority. I don't know what that is. So there's that. And then Perry Wright, Jonathan, and okay, there we go. So they're gonna be other heroes in this movie, like the Green Lantern and Hawkgirl. So that's gonna be interesting. So, I'm wondering with this movie, obviously the main villain I'm assuming here will be Lex Luthor. But with all these other heroes involved, how in the world will Luthor go up against Mr. Terrific, who is a hero, Metamorpho, who is a hero as well, the Green Lantern, obviously, and Hawkgirl? Like, how are he gonna go up against all of that? That's my question. Now, maybe the engineer may be a villain who could know. I don't know. No, the Authority is a superhero team. So, and then there's that. So, how I'm confused. I'm really, really confused in terms of the antagonists. Again, Luthor, I'm assuming, going to be the main antagonist, but how is he going to compete against Superman and all these other heroes? That's my issue that I have here. Now, oh, check this out. Okay, this movie right here is set to be the first film of the DCU's Chapter 1, Gods and Monsters. Okay, so that's interesting. So that means there's going to be more movies a part of this chapter, and there's going to be more chapters. So hopefully they can get this right this time around, because even though like Aquaman movies were good, the first Wonder Woman movie, I remember seeing that, was okay. No, it was actually good. It was not bad. I didn't see the second one, and I heard the second one was terrible. And then everything else was like, okay, fine, so be it. So hopefully they're able to do a better job with this DC universe than the previous one. So I'm looking forward to Superman, because I want to know who the main villains will be and how would they be competitive against this lineup of superheroes. So I'm willing to see how this would go, and I'm looking forward to this more so than the Fantastic Four and How to Train Your Dragon. Okay, so now let's move on to number 2, Thunderbolts. Okay, so at this point, y'all should all heard about this one. Now, this joint is stated to come out on May the 2nd of this year, and the production company, obviously, Marvel Studios, and it's distributed by Walt Disney Studios Motion Pictures, obviously. Okay, so check this out. The premise goes as follows. A group of anti-heroes goes on missions for the American government. That's it. That's all Wikipedia has. Okay, so let's see who we got here. We got Yelena Belova, who is, a member of the Thunderbolts. And let's see, so I believe that's the Black Willow's sister, maybe so correctly. Obviously, Bucky Barnes, aka the Winter Soldier, will be in this. We got Alexei, the Red Guardian, who is Yelena's father, and also what's the name? Black Widow's father, going to be in this. And then we got U.S. Agent. If you recall, he was in the what's that show? The Bucky and what is it? That Marvel show. And I seen it. It was actually good. I forgot the name of the show though. We also gonna get Taskmaster, so that's gonna be an interesting villain. And we got the Sentry. Now the Sentry is a superhero, so that's gonna be interesting as well in terms of what role he will play. And then we got Ava Starr, aka Ghost. I don't know who that is, but apparently they're a member of the Thunderbolts as well. So I'm interested to see how this would go down. I'm very interested to see how this would go down. So I can't wait for this one. Yeah, the Falcon and the Winter Soldier. That's the name of the show that the U.S. Agent was in. Falcon and the Winter Soldier. So I cannot wait to see how this would go, and I can't wait to see how this will end. And let me see, we got some more info here. So obviously, this will be the final film of Phase 5 of the MCU. So that's interesting. So after this, they're gonna go straight into Phase 6, and a lot of stuff is gonna go down in Phase 6. The Avengers movies and stuff like that. So I can't wait for that. So this is gonna be very, very huge right here. So I can't wait for this one. I still have some issues in terms of who the main villain is outside of Taskmaster, but because of the fact, and then if Sentry's like Superman-like in terms of his abilities, if my memories is correct, if my facts are correct, so I'm like, yo, how are the villains going to compete with Sentry? Assuming Sentry is a hero. So there's that. That's my question with that. So there's still some question marks involved with this movie, but not as much as the previous three, which is right. This is number 2, but it's not number 1. Now, before we get on to number 1, I got a bunch of honorable mentions, but I got tiers in terms of honorable mentions. So I'm going to give you my, I'm not going to see them tiers, but I'm just going to name them off anyway. So here we go. We got a Minecraft movie. Obviously, y'all heard about that movie. I don't think it's going to do well, but it's Minecraft. Minecraft is huge. So, of course, I got to mention that. Mortal Kombat 2, yep, the sequel to the remake of Mortal Kombat that came out, 2019, I think? And I heard that movie was terrible. I seen bits and pieces of that movie, and they make it a sequel to that, so I don't think this is going to do well as well, but at the same time, it's Mortal Kombat. It's one of, the 2 or 3 best fighting franchises of all time. To me, Street Fighter's number 1. Street Fighter number 1, and then it's a toss-up between this and Tekken. So, there's that. Afterward, and then this not including, the whole Marvel vs. Capcom series. Otherwise, that'd be number 1. Moving on, we got Until Dawn, which is based off the PlayStation video game. I don't know much about this franchise, but I have this strange feeling that this movie will not do well as well. So there's that. And then we got another SpongeBob movie. And actually, there's supposed to be 2 SpongeBob movies coming out this year. One of them is going to be about Plankton. That would be on Netflix. And then we got this one. That will be coming out later this year. The SpongeBob movie, Search for SquarePants. I don't know what that movie is about. I have fell off of SpongeBob for the longest of time, so I have no clue what to expect here. I have no interest in seeing this movie, but just like with the Mortal Kombat movie, just like with a Minecraft movie, it's SpongeBob. So it's like a popular franchise, so I have to mention this here. Next up, the day the Earth blew up, a Looney Tunes movie. Same thing here. I don't know what to expect here. Maybe good, maybe not, but it's Looney Tunes. I mean, Bugs Bunny, Daffy Duck, Sylvester, Tweety Bird, Roll One, and Speedy Gonzales. Those 2 are my favorites Looney Tunes, actually. So, yeah, pretty much, I have to mention that here. Next up is Tron Ares. Ares? How you pronounce that? Ares? So this is the sequel, rather, to Tron Legacy, and that movie came out 2010, if memory serves correctly. I mean, I have to mention this here because it's Tron. I'm not saying it's going to be a bad movie, but I have no interest in seeing this. I didn't even see Tron Legacy because I had no interest in that. So, I have no interest in seeing this as well. Snow White. So, we're getting a live-action Snow White movie. Now, I have to mention it because Snow White, let's be honest, Snow White is a classic. I think I've seen the animated movie when I was a kid, but now that I've grown and more importantly as a dude, I have no interest in seeing this movie. Then we got Avatar, Fire and Ash. Now this ain't Avatar: The Last Airbender or The Legend of Korra. This is the Blue People Avatar. I have no interest in seeing this movie because to me, that franchise is overrated. And actually, the first movie is overrated. The second movie, not a lot of people didn't. Okay, in comparison to the first movie, not a lot of people liked it by comparison only, and now they're coming out with this. So, I'm not saying it's going to do bad because it's Avatar, the Blue People version. So, obviously, people are going to go and watch it, but it's not for me. I have no interest in watching this. And then we got Megan 2.0. So, this is the sequel to the first Megan movie, which I heard was really good, but it's somewhat of a scary movie, and I don't really do scary movies like that, so I have no interest in seeing this. Lilo and Stitch, another live action movie. This one is kind of interesting. I will be honest. I may see this. I don't know. I seen the original animated movie, but I seen the trailer for this as well. Stitch kind of looked good, so I may see it. I don't know. It would be very interesting to see. And with all these live action remakes, like not necessarily How to Train Your Dragon because that's not Disney, but Snow White, Disney, Lilo and Stitch, Disney. I wonder if there's Kingdom Hearts in the works. That would be interesting. And then we got From the World of John Wick, Ballerina. Obviously, I got to mention that. Like, John Wick is popular. Even though that's not my cup of tea, I got to mention that. And I won't see this, but again, I got to mention this because, yeah, it's a popular franchise right there. And then, of course, another popular franchise, Mission Impossible, The Final Reckoning. Again, I got to mention this one right here. This is a legacy franchise right here. I haven't seen any of these because it's not my cup of tea. I'm more of a James Bond guy, but I got to mention this here. I won't see this movie, but I got to mention it here. So all the movies that I named and the honorable mention list so far, maybe with the exception of Lilo and Stitch, I have no interest in watching those movies. So there's that. Now I'm going to mention movies that are in the honorable mention. Now this is an upper tier honorable mention list that I am planning on watching. And this one will be The Karate Kid Legends. So this joint is coming out May the 30th of this year. The production companies are Columbia Pictures and Sunswept Entertainment. And it will be distributed by Sony Pictures Releasing. So this one, I'll be honest, this one is going to be confusing because let me give you, there's no premise here, but let me give you a background info on this movie. So, The Karate Kid, the original Karate Kid that came out in 1984, which is the best year ever, starring Ralph Macchio as Daniel LaRusso, the main star of the entire franchise. And then, of course, it was followed by the 3 sequels, The Karate Kid Part 2 and The Karate Kid Part 3. One of those I saw. I don't remember which one it was, but not from the whole thing. I need to watch those 2 movies. One of those I did see, but not the whole thing, just bits and pieces of it. And another one I did not see at all. And those movies had Ralph Macchio as Daniel LaRusso in those 2 movies. And then there's the next Karate Kid. That one's the one where they had a female Karate Kid in it. I didn't see that whole movie. I saw the end of it. And Macchio was not in that movie at all. And then there was the remake of the first film, which had, what's his name? Jaden Smith and, what's his name? Jackie Chan. I didn't see that movie. And then afterward, so yeah, Jackie Chan was Mr. Han. So with that said, this one is focused on Kung Fu and it is set in China. So this one will feature, check this out. It will feature Jackie Chan as, what's his name? Mr. Han from the remake. And it will also feature, where's the other guy? Ralph Macchio, the main guy. So he would be back as Daniel LaRusso in this one. Now, here's another innovation. So we talking about the original and the remake coming together for this. And I'm like, what? That's crazy. And then to make things even more crazy, the television series Cobra Kai was serving as a sequel to the original films. And they just ended season 6. I mean, I'm not sure they ended season 6. No. Okay, so hold on. So yeah, season 6 came out already, maybe says it correctly. Now this movie will take place 3 years after the final season, which is season 6 of Cobra Kai. So more than likely, there may be elements of Cobra Kai in this movie. And I have not seen Cobra Kai at all. So I have seen the original movie. I've seen parts of either part 2 or part 3. I've seen parts of the next Karate Kid. And I've seen the entire Karate Kid remake. Everything else I did not see. So I may watch Karate Kid Part 2 and Karate Kid Part 3 and the next Karate Kid. I may watch those 3 movies. I have no interest in watching Cobra Kai. Not at all. So, but I do want to watch this movie. But because of the fact that they're combining the original and the remake together, I'm like, how is that going to work? Like, how's that going to go? So I'm kind of interested to see how that would work, and the fact that it's going to take place in China and they're going to be focusing on Kung Fu instead of karate. So that's going to be very interesting to see how this works. But I got an honorable mention because while it's interesting, but it's not as interesting as the other 6 movies ahead of it. So you probably wanted 6. I had a top 5. So what's the other one? So that's my other honorable mention, and that would be Jurassic World Rebirth. So this one coming out July 2nd of this year, and the production companies involved are Amblin Entertainment, the Kenny Marshall Company as well, and it will be distributed by Universal Pictures. Okay, so I can give you guys a plot summary. 5 years after the events of Jurassic World Dominion, the planet's environment has shown itself to be mainly inhospitable to dinosaurs. The survivors now live in remote tropical regions with conditions similar to those in which they were formerly abundant. Zora Bennett, a covert operative, is hired to work with paleontologist Dr. Henry Loomis, and team leader Duncan Kincaid on a top secret mission. Their goal is to locate the 3 largest creatures within the tropics and acquire their DNA, which contains the key to a drug that will miraculously save human lives. The team crosses paths with a civilian family whose boating adventure was overturned by roving aquatic dinosaurs, leaving them all stranded on an island where they must confront a terrifying, ominous revelation that has been kept secret from the world for decades. Okay, so I have no clue if any of the old cast, so we talk about like the original 3 and then the 3 that follow afterward, I have no clue any of them will be in this movie. I don't know if they're necessary for this movie, because I feel like this is going to be its own line of trilogies right here. But I have seen every single Jurassic Park movie, and while I wouldn't necessarily say, oh, I'm a big fan of the Jurassic Park franchise as a whole, I'm not heavily invested in it. I have seen the movies, so I got to continue with this right here. So the story is interesting, but it's not as interesting enough as the other movies that are in my top 5, which is why this is not in my top 5. But it is better, in my opinion, than the Karate Kid Legends movie in terms of like interest, in terms of the story. So, because there's more to the story here that we were told about as opposed to Karate Kid Legends. Okay, so with that out the way, let me reveal what number 1 is. Number 1, Captain America, Brave New World. Okay, come on, this is obvious. So this one's coming up really soon. So this is coming up on February the 14th, and I need to get my ticket soon, actually. So the production company involved is Marvel Studios, obviously, and it'll be distributed by, you guessed it, Walt Disney Studios Motion Pictures. Okay, so following the elections of, this is the premise here, following the election of Thaddeus Ross, as president of the United States, Sam Wilson, aka, what's his name? I'm obviously the new Captain America, but he also went under the name, Falcon, yeah, Falcon, formerly Falcon, now the new Captain America, finds himself at the center of an international incident and must work to stop the true masterminds behind this. So, we got Sam Wilson, aka formerly known as Falcon, but now is the new Captain America. And there's a new Falcon now, so that's going to be interesting. And then, let's see, I don't know who this is. Sabra? Sabra going to be in this. Let's see. Another former Black Widow, so that's interesting. And then we got Isaiah Bradley, who, I don't know who that is. Let's see. Oh, he's a super soldier, so that's interesting. And then we got a Secret Service agent. And then, let's see, we got Sidewinder. I have no clue who that is, but apparently, whoever this is the leader of the Serpent Society. And I have no clue who that is. And then we got Samus Stearns, a.k.a. Leader. I have no clue who that is. And then, obviously, we got Harrison Ford. I mean, not Harrison Ford, but we got Thaddeus Ross, who was the president, who will become the Red Hulk. That's going to be huge right there. I can't wait for that. I cannot wait for that at all. So, there you go with that. This is going to be huge because, obviously, we're getting a Captain America movie with Sam Wilson as the star. And then the Red Hulk going to be in this joint as well. And another thing I can't wait to see is the end credit scene because I want to see the Red Hulk meet the actual Incredible Hulk. That's going to be crazy. Even though the Incredible Hulk is more retired, if you want to say that. But this is going to be very, very huge. It's one of the last few movies that is a part of Phase 5. I already talked about the other one, number 2 on the list, Thunderbolts, which is the final movie part of Phase 5. So I can't wait to see this movie. This movie coming out really soon. I will get my ticket for this very, very shortly. So there you go with that. Now, those are my top 5 movies that I am anticipating for the year with some honorable mentions mixed in. Let me know what you think about my list and let me know what movies are you looking forward to in this year. And I'm going to call it a wrap. So with all that said, y'all know this is boy New Jack Gatsby, a.k.a. New Stephen A. Smith, saying peace out, y'all, and I'll see y'all next time. Yeah.